pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, the creator of all things and source of true wisdom, we gather today to act on behalf of your people. We ask for your guidance to shine upon us. Grant us the discernment to make just and equitable decisions, the courage to act with integrity, and the unity to work toward the common good. Strengthen us to serve with humility and to uphold the responsibilities entrusted to us. Amen.
Amen.
Looks like the first thing we have on our agenda is a public request for the Scott Park.
You know, if you guys had copies of a proposal, so I think otherwise. Here's the actual proposal. And then you can like a couple minutes.
Oh, you're more than welcome to, yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Carmen Hurley. When my father, John Beeman, passed away in 2018, I approached the township about purchasing some of our family land to expand the existing park. I did so with the clear understanding that horseback riding would be able to continue on those 80 acres. That understanding was made with Bob Harris, who, as you know, sadly passed away. I am here today respectfully asking the board to consider restoring ride-in horseback access on those 80 acres. I understand the primary concern is liability. That concern is valid and I take it seriously. However, horseback riding is not unique in presenting risk. Public parks already manage liability for activities such as playground use, lakes, dog walking, and hiking. National injury data shows that emergency departments treat over 200,000 playground-related injuries annually in the United States. Risk exists in parks, but is managed through structure, rules, and reasonable oversight. This proposal involves riders on their own personal horses. Just as a dog owner is responsible if their dog bites someone in the park, a rider assumes responsibility if they fall from their own horse. Structured access, designated trails, and clear guidelines protect both the riders and the park. Participants could also sign a simple acknowledgement form or waiver if the board prefers. Access would be ride-in only, meaning riders would need permission from a bordering landowner. It's not open to outside trailering. Riding would be limited strictly to the additional 80 acres. Riders would stay off walking trails, remain within designated areas, manage manure responsibly, and follow posted guidelines. Importantly, this proposal would not require additional parking, new infrastructure, or increased staffing. Because it is ride-in only and confined to the less congested portion of the property, it would not add operational burden or expense to the township. My goal is to ensure this can function smoothly without creating additional work for the party. There are numerous examples in our region of public park systems that allow controlled horseback riding, including Allen County and Lake County in Indiana, Will and Lake counties in Illinois, and Shelby County in Kentucky, along with many other across the country. These public park systems successfully balance equestrian use with other recreational activities through clear rules and thoughtful trail management. When horseback riding was previously allowed, the community's response was overwhelmingly positive, especially from families with children. The presence of horses added character and expanded the recreational value of the property. I'm grateful for all those who took the time to attend this meeting today. The majority of them will never personally ride a horse on this property. They are here simply because they believe it adds value to the community and supports the idea of allowing horses back. Excuse me. I believe that speaks to the broader benefit this brings beyond just the riders themselves. Additionally, the Evansville Mounted Police have expressed interest in conducting occasional training on these trails. That partnership would support law enforcement readiness and provide added public benefit. This is not a request for unrestricted access. It is a structured, limited proposal modeled after successful park systems, focused on responsible use and community benefit. My pages. I care deeply about this property and about Scott Township. I want to maintain a positive relationship with the township, be a good neighbor, and keep open lines of communication moving forward. My goal is not conflict. It is cooperation and finding a solution that works for everyone and still honors the original intent of the land sale. I sincerely appreciate the trustee and the members of the board for the work you do for Scott Township and for taking the time to consider this request. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anybody else who is wanting to speak to it? Or
I would. I didn't know if we needed to wait till the public comment at the end, so.
oh, well, we're here in it. Might as well,
Would you like for me to go up there or just,
wherever you're comfortable.
I'll just sit here.
You gotta go in the middle, underneath the light.
Okay, underneath the examination.
They'll bring the mic.
Okay, sure. My name is Courtney Nayland. I am a boarder at Night Sun Stables. My daughter and I have been taking lessons there for over 4 years. We also lease another horse. We've been involved with 4-H for several years. I'm also in the emergency services in Posey County. And more importantly, well, not as important as my children, of course, but I'm also the executive director of the Joshua Tree Homeschool Hub. We're located in Evansville. We're a new resource to the homeschool community. We have been homeschooling since the beginning. I have a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old. I'm also a coordinator at at the largest homeschool co-op in this area. So needless to say, I'm connected to a lot of families, and there are hundreds of homeschool families in the tri-state area that are always looking for ways to get outside, to experience new things that are unique that not a lot of people get to experience, not a lot of kids get to experience in a traditional school setting. We have a lot of passion for the outdoors and for community. And so with that, because of being the executive director at the hub, we have a lot of connections we are seen as the resource center. There's not another resource center on this end of the state. We're only one of 3 in the state. So we are always referring people, connecting people, telling them who they can reach out to if they're looking for a space to utilize. We have also had several families on Facebook. I admin a Facebook group for homeschoolers that have, it's over 1,000 members. That's one of 3 that I help admin. And, but we are constantly sharing about Night Sun Stables and the camps that she offers there for the community, special learners. We have a lot of special learners, not just in the homeschool community, but in the school system as well. And so she has graciously done many different camps. She's been able to adjust and serve those that have the special needs. And she's always looking for ways to increase that and to work with different families. So for me personally, and also as a leader in the community, I see this very much as being a beneficial thing to be able to extend that community relations and be able to see another unique thing in Scott Township. I love what Vandenberg Fire is doing. I'm very supportive of them. And we love the community for the unique things that they have. And being able to have that is definitely something that nobody else around here has. So I think that's really unique and in a positive way. So thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Any of the members of the board have questions?
I have a couple for Carmen.
Yeah.
So in your questionnaire here, frequently asked, you talk about designated paths. Is that something that you and your group would be developing? That keep the horses away from the people trail?
I was assuming that we would, yes, need to have something that wasn't on the trail that everybody uses.
Yeah.
And we don't have to have a mowed path with the horses, so we can go off that.
But it'd be a marked path? I mean, or how would someone know where to be and where not
It
to
could be
be?
a marked path. Most of the time, I'm going to be with anybody that's back there, and I know that. I mean, I grew up there. I've been riding that property for 43 years.
Understand.
So,
But Scott Township and you could make an agreement
Yes.
about where that is.
yeah,
Well, and I guess that's, at the end of the day, what we'll need to work out is a land use agreement.
Mhm.
So that's something that, we couldn't decide, these guys couldn't decide on today.
okay,
But, I would take the first draft of your proposal and, start to develop an agreement with the board. And then obviously pass it by you to see if you would be willing to do that. But I think his point is well taken, is that we have more and more walkers.
Mhm.
And I think that we would need to have a designated trail for the horses. Because when we did three public meetings on a master plan for what to do with the park, okay? Because we never had envisioned that the park should be like Burdette. We're not anywhere close. We don't want to do that. Everybody wants to keep it natural like it is. Maybe another shelter house someday or something like that. But anyhow, that was a concern by the folks, and most of those folks were walkers. They come out and walk. And, the subject came up about horses and how could we keep the two from coming together, especially if you come around a corner or pop a hill and there's somebody walking and something happens and now not just the rider gets thrown, but the walker gets injured as well. So that would be, I think that we would have to, literally walk and,
Yeah.
the property to see and mark it appropriately. So.
And again, I'm just speaking for me. I'm just one of three, but certainly I think I have to look at liability, and I think there would have to be some type of release,
yes,
holding a hold harmless agreement for the township. And then the other one I think would be the manure management.
Mhm.
And I know you addressed that in here, but I think I would speak for me to say, a few people not behaving properly could spoil it for all.
yes.
And that I would be inclined to consider some type of try it and see how it works with some type of, and I'm speaking just for Harold, some type of annual renewal with the idea of if things start getting out of hand, then
Okay,
it's a privilege, not a right.
yes,
I think I'd want to be very clear from my perspective on that. And so a few bad actors could spoil it for all the good actors.
yes.
So, okay, I've got mine out.
I have a comment if my name is Mark Bowling. I'm a landowner adjacent to the property, for the last 27 years. And, one of the things that occurs to me is that access to that 80 acres is fairly limited. My property line is such that you can't get from my property onto that 80 acres except through one gate. And so,
We share.
which we share with Night Sun Stables.
I was gonna say, out of curiosity, where are you located? in
Just
relation-
north of Night Sun Stables on the west side of
The
the
hill.
80 acres,
On the west side of the,
or east side, I'm sorry, east side.
you're north of them, okay.
Okay.
And so one of the things that might be negotiated in this land use agreement is the entry points that are sanctioned for that. And in terms of bad actors, maybe you have a way of saying, these people have permission to conduct rides or give access And that way you could hold the people who are not complying, maybe responsible, and not make it a blanket. Everybody can do it or nobody can do it.
Yeah, I think so. You know, and again, we'd have to look at, again, agreements and so forth. I think maybe simple is not the right word here, but the initial one with, you know, Carmen and Night Sun Stables, and that be who we have the agreement with, so that others, then Carmen would grant you permission, for example, to use that access, but be underneath that agreement. Okay. And again, the only way we're gonna know who that bad actor is if we start seeing a lot of, you know, horse manure in places it shouldn't be, you know, wasn't cleaned up. And that's it, because, you know, we're not gonna spend a bunch of money on trail cams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And see, if Carmen was the licensed or the provision person,
Yeah.
she would know who that is immediately.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I say, for simplicity's sake, we
Yeah.
would have that land use agreement with Carmen and Night Sun Stables.
And I wouldn't want to do anything to jeopardize it, so I would want to make sure that any permission I would give, it would be under my supervision, and I wouldn't let just anybody.
And I don't mean my comments to be derogatory towards any of the riders or anything like that.
Oh, I can.
But I have to look at the whole picture here and make sure it's balanced and
Yeah.
things like that. So.
Steve, you have any?
Yeah, I do. For Carm, you know, I'm the only one in here that, from the beginning when Bob was, we acquired your ground. And, of course, my memory's about that long. But anyway, can't remember all the details, and I was looking through a bunch of my past notes and that, and I couldn't find anything of what the agreement was, what it wasn't, and I apologize on that. I do have a couple of comments. You are referring to just the ground that you sold.
Yes.
You're not planning on bringing horses up into the existing
No.
park.
Away, yeah, it would be away from all the hiking trails in the woods, the park equipment, like playground equipment, the lake. It would just be on the 80 acres that you don't see as many people utilizing as the regular park.
And, in your comments, I thought I heard you say something about there's some policemen that come out and ride horses.
Yes, I keep a horse for one of the, well, for him.
I was gonna wait to see if you had any questions at the end, but, yeah, so, pardon me, Justin Jackson, I'm a lieutenant with the Evansville Police Department. I'm boarding, Thor, who's a 1,400-pound, just beautiful beast at Carmen's. And, so the only thing I was gonna speak to it is, that back 80 acres, I've talked to several deputies. The only way they can patrol it is via drone, talking about the accessibility. We would predominantly be back on the 80 acres just for, like, it wouldn't be like everyday training, but it would be, you know, it would be routine enough that if you had any issues back there, I know like Evansville Park, they have different problems than county parks do. Homeless, you've got people who plant, you know, illegal vegetation and things like that. So you'd have eyes on the ground back there. Law enforcement officers are sworn to the state of Indiana. I couldn't enforce like a county code or anything like that, but state law, and other laws like that, we could. So again, you'd have eyes on the ground with me and my partner, who's lieutenant with the Evansville Police Department as well. You know, if you had any issues back there, if you wanted us to come up and do a meet and greet to the front of the park or anything like that, we'd be more than happy to, because the more that you can expose to a horse, the better. So, you know, children on the playground, noise from the road, running water when there's enough water in that creek. It would be a huge benefit to us. So I really, you know, would appreciate the consideration.
So the police don't have horses per se, that they're gonna bring out there and ride and so forth. You're the only one that really has a horse.
It would, no, so there's two of us. It would be me and then the lieutenant, who's the commander. So it would just be like, predominantly, it would just be me and him.
Of course, okay, because I was wondering about access, you know, the different policemen, are they gonna start coming in the park and driving back to the bridge and unloading?
Oh, no, yeah,
You'll be
so
bringing everything.
It would all go through my
Yeah.
barn.
my partner, he ferries there as well. He goes there to get his first shots. So all our access, and then he kept his horse out there for something like
Yeah, so they used to do training back there in the park when Bob Harris was still here. They would ride back there and do training. And so they've just got a new horse that they're wanting to expose now. The same area.
Okay. Then you mentioned about, it sounds like manure is an issue here. And about horses accidentally getting into walking paths and that, if you did make paths back there and it did go through, don't you think you'd have to label this as a horse path? So that way if they stepped in from the trap,
Yes.
it's labeled horse.
Yes, and I can do that. I don't know, if it'd be possible to use, paint on a tree. That's how a lot of horse trails are marked. It's just a color on a tree that you can kind of see where you're, yeah.
Okay.
I have a public comment, so take off my work hat. For those who don't know, my name is Kendall Craig. But I take my family out to walk in the back 80, as you call it. We do have a newer staff member who's been mowing trails in the back. They're not mapped trails, but they're mowed trails. So I think for the public who doesn't have a horse, there would have to be a clear delineation of this is walking with your dog or your family or doing your family pictures or whatever it is versus a horse path. And it would have to be a complete segregation, whether it's a creek line or something. And I know that I'm the rare one off, but my son is deathly allergic to horses, so we would probably limit our activity at the park then. But when we talk about the walking trails, I do know that there's been an earnest effort to put more walking trails in the back. They're not paved, of course, but they are mowed in a different fashion. So you mentioned the painting on the tree, that would be for the horse rider, but then for the public portion, how would we know we're not supposed to go there anymore because that's now a horse accessible area? It's something to consider.
I would mean they wouldn't go there. I mean, they could choose not to go there if it were marked, right? But you're not saying that the public couldn't go back there. I mean, right?
No. I was just, my thought was we would stay off of the mowed path that's already back there for the walking trail.
So I think we would have to just have a map created of what the mode
Right.
paths are.
And that's, I think that development, and with the use permit is really the next steps.
So the next step would be for the trustee to develop a land use agreement between the township and Carmen's business. I'm sorry, I didn't capture the name, so.
But in essence,
To develop the land use
You
agreement.
can direct me to do that, yeah, if you wish.
Okay.
but in essence, there would have to be a way to let the horse riders know, hey, the area you're approaching, you can't go past here because this is open to everybody. Likewise, there would have to be notifications for people walking back there. Hey, if you come back here, there are horse trails back here. I think that's
Right.
If you see a purple paint,
Yeah.
that's indication you might be on a horse trail. So I would make a motion
He is a
to
smart
direct the trustee to develop a draft land use agreement for horseback access in the back 80 acres of the township park.
I'll second that.
okay. Well, I've got a motion second. Further discussion. I've got some questions and some concerns. One of my main concerns is you alluded to that there was the original intent for you to still be able to ride horses back there.
Yeah.
If it's something that the township is doing now that's keeping you from doing something that we're either contractually obligated to do, was there anything in writing with the
No, it
township?
was an agreement. It was a gentleman's agreement between me and Bob Harris. He never thought there would ever be an issue with us riding back there. He said that could continue. We also leased some property where we had horses pastured. And he did say that at some point if they develop it, that would end. So we did talk about that possibly ending. He saw no reason why the horses would not end, the horse riding wouldn't end. And that was between him and I. Now his wife was there, so, she would be privileged to that talk. My fiance was there too, but he's passed also.
But there was nothing in like the sale agreement that said,
Emails where it's talked about, but not a written like legal agreement. But I do have like emails back and forth where there's discussion.
Bob did run things a little loose, but in his, he got a lot of things accomplished. You guys gotta remember that.
That's definitely one way of putting it.
And I'm sure it's in like the minutes and all that.
Yeah.
I was trying to find that, but legally, I agree with you. I'm sure there wasn't.
No.
I think he was all for that just to finally get the ground for the
Yeah.
township.
well, because that was one of my big concerns, that if the township is legally obligated to allow you to still use it, we don't need to be standing in the way of that.
Yeah, no, there wasn't a legal agreement. I did have a lease. I paid a lease fee to lease those back pastures and it didn't have a time frame on it. But I've got the horses off of there now. I know you guys are taking down fences and there was a few issues. I had horses out on Baseline Road. I didn't realize fences were going down. And so, but I have a canceled check for that, for leasing that, but at this point, I mean, the horses are off of it and.
The other thing that causes me concern on the flip side of it is, right now we have the park as a public resource, and therefore everybody's enjoyment. The way that this sounds to me, that it's being written up as write-in only, access from adjoining properties only, is we're taking a public resource and making it exclusive for this one subset. If you own property, you can use it. If you can get permission from a property owner, you can use it. I know other people that have horses and ride horses. When I threw it past them, hey, what would you think of this? They weren't too happy. I mean, right now, they don't have really any burning desire to go back there and ride, but if they found out that, hey, I could go back there and ride, but except that I don't own land there,
Would have to go through
how-
somebody.
how do we balance that? How do we make it fair to everybody else that doesn't?
I would think you could just kind of send them to me and they could sign forms with me to come off of my property.
Is that something you'd be willing to let
Mhm.
people come and trailer their horses in and then?
Yeah,
ride?
yeah, I mean, they'd have to sign forms. And that would help me keep everybody signing the form for you guys. If there was a waiver that they needed to sign, I could make sure they're signing all the waivers as well.
I presume this is gonna be more insurance to somebody, either to us or to her,
Well,
or
I'll
a
have to-
combination, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, there's two people that's, I'll run all this through. Obviously, number one is legal. And number two would be our insurance carrier. And that's why it's developing it. I'd have to give them a rough draft, talk to them, see what their input is and so forth. And that, that'd be at a future meeting.
Okay.
I did talk to my insurance and I could add the park as part of my policy.
Yeah, that's abnormal. You would add us as an additional insurer and indemnify us. And we would need to get that, like, for example, on an annual basis.
Yeah.
But that would be part of the agreement.
I'm completely prepared to do that.
And that's kind of the standard
Mhm.
thing with two parties. So, yeah, that, once I get that developed and I start running it by those folks, then we can have further discussions with it.
So in this land use agreement that you would be developing, I guess my concern right now, and if we have a motion and a second on the table, so it's gonna come to a vote. Right now on this, my vote is no, with the caveat that I would be very willing to reexamine it if we had some more of these issues kind of fleshed out. As far as, exactly where in the park do we want to have access? How are we going to sign it? Who's going to be responsible for everything? Your willingness to allow people that basically aren't your customers to come on and use your land as an access point. I think if we got something a little more substantial, like I said, I'd be willing to consider it at that point.
I don't foresee that there's gonna be very many that would want to come and access that to ride.
Can I comment too? Because I hear what you're saying. I do know because we are part of a saddle club, that does shows and we trailer to the saddle club. A lot of people that go to that saddle club, as long as they are members, they do have access to use that property, the saddle club's property. I'm not familiar with all of the different saddle clubs property. I just know the ones that we've been a part of. So I don't know if some of them have trails or whatever to ride, but they do have access to other places besides their own property that is a public property that they're able to. Not saying that that is fair or not fair, but there are those options. And most of the time, just knowing the equine community, not as well as Carmen, because we've not been a part of it as long, but most of the horse owners prefer to stay on their property or go to the saddle club's property, and they look for ways to not have to trailer the horses everywhere, just because that's just more work, more time in the day. If they're like me, I have a vehicle to pull a trailer, but my husband has not taught me how to do it yet, so I have to depend on him to be available. So being able to do that kind of stuff kind of limits, like what she says, that it will limit technically who would actually want to come, and then for them to sign a liability or a waiver with her. I don't think it's bad to necessarily look at that, because you definitely want to adjust the concerns for everybody in the public. I agree with you. But just as a horse person, I would probably not, me personally, I would not go trailering to Warwick County or Posey County on a regular basis, or really be super angry if I found out that Posey Saddle Club had some kind of agreement like this and I wasn't allowed to trailer. And I'd be like, that's fine, because I don't want to drive all the way out to Posey County for a couple of hours of riding. Other people might feel differently, but that's just me personally. And I do think that agreeing today to basically move to the next step of saying, okay, we're open to this. Let's see what kind of agreement we can come to. That doesn't necessarily say you don't still have hesitations. It's say, okay, let's put together, if the trustee puts together whatever that agreement looks like, you have the meeting, and then you would still, from my understanding, you'd still have to have an agreement that comes before and gets a final vote on what the agreement looks like. Unless I'm misunderstanding.
I think my clarity is, I'm not saying it's a done deal. I'm
Right,
saying,
That's what. I
Yeah.
let's draft,
Considering.
let's draft something and make sure that everybody can agree to all the
Details.
different details, but take a step forward, but there's no guarantee
Right, that's what I
that
think,
it's a
yes.
done deal.
Yeah,
By any means, is that what?
right. It's
I
not like you go
propose.
out today and be like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Right, yes.
That's on what she was saying.
Yeah.
Most people, if they're gonna hook up their trailer, load up their horses, they're not gonna drive to go ride 80 acres. They're gonna go to hike and ride miles and miles and miles of trail if they're gonna go to that effort. So that's why I don't foresee a lot of people wanting to access this property. It's beneficial to me. One, I grew up there and I've ridden it all my life, but two, it's just right out my back door. And so that's why it's so beneficial to me, and I just love the land. Other people with horses, that's an hour's ride, maybe an hour and a half to ride all that. It's not worth all the time and effort to load up and do all that for that amount of time.
And like I said, right now, the ones I talked to, they really don't have any burning desire to go back there, but it's still the optics of, if we create an environment where only this certain group can come into the park, if why them and not me too. So again, it's just trying to be fair to everybody.
I would add when he looks at legal to run it by auditing. Cause we're using a public resource for a private purpose, so have the auditing look at it as well. Cause that, all of our contracts are audited.
Well, and I can also speak, like, Carmen and I formerly were part of the EMA search and rescue team. I had a canine, she did horses and trained the horses that were on there. She's very conscious of safety and very conscious of being, when I watched her teaching people how to be responsible in the environment that they were in. And I'm talking about all kinds of environments, because in search and rescue, we did all kinds of environments. She knows what she's doing, and there's a lot of knowledge that could be used in that way for police and fire and whoever is in those circumstances. So just as a vote of confidence, having worked with her in that setting.
So, then yes, if this motion that we have for land use permit, if that's, for planning purposes.
Yeah.
only,
Yeah.
then, is there any other further discussion on it? No. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. So we'll see if we can get some more detailed plan on what this is, and we can put up this.
Did everyone sign in?
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Just making sure.
We do not have another meeting scheduled, but we will do that at the end of the meeting, and it'll be posted on the website if anyone wants to follow up.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
I say if you parked around back, you can exit right there. A little shorter walk.
Yeah.
You said you don't direct. I said we do that at the house.
Review up under the AFR.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey, Pat, if you wouldn't mind moving the merit commission and the territory up, I need to slide out at 1 o'clock. Sure.
Once our illustrious secretary returns.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We can't start without him because he keeps all the good notes.
What? I'm ready.
Whatever.
Hello.
Hey,
You just, want to move that up now?
once you get,
That's fine.
yeah, once you approve your minutes.
Yeah.
Again, get to him, how's that?
Just maybe above the AFR because I feel like that'll take a little bit of time.
A little bit, yeah.
Do I have a motion to approve the, January 6th meeting minutes?
I approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Merit commission,
Merit board.
there is, you have the resolution for that. There is a resolution to be, approved.
On the screen sheet.
Yeah,
Well-
where Ryan went, I don't know. We have it. So basically, whenever we expanded the fire territory,
Yeah.
we did not
Resolution.
expand the resolution, for the merit commission. I think it's all one document.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna pull it up on the screen too.
Okay. Paperclip.
So the merit commission attorney worked with Joe Harrison, the township attorney, and updated the resolution, not reestablishing the territory or the merit commission, just stating that it was established prior to the merger. And that it still exists as it was prior. So that's what that resolution there is saying. So for the merit commission, we would just need you guys to pass that resolution. Basically saying that German Township is.
Didn't we do this? Like,
We didn't do it after the merger. So in the interlocal agreement, it does not specify the,
so do we need to reference this 24-4 resolution or?
Yeah, that's your number of that resolution.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I move that we,
well, wait, it's not 24-4. That was the original. This one doesn't have, did you put a number on this one?
I did not amend it in any way.
Okay, well, we'll need a resolution number, won't it, for the township?
Yeah, we can have one, but
Okay.
I'm going off of what you sent me. That's what you sent me.
Joe sent it. This
Okay,
is, this is not, which one did you give them?
The only one I.
No, Joe sent you one for the merit commission.
Sent it to me or Keith.
Yeah, I forwarded it to you. Yeah,
So
that's,
step back, that's gonna be the fire territory, that's different. Yeah, there should be one for the merit commission that,
no, this is
from Joe.
This is the merit commission.
Oh, so then you didn't print that one.
No, we're good.
That's what they have. That's the third page.
Yeah, no, they're good.
What's up there is.
What's up there is not the merit commission.
This is,
No, what you have,
The first page.
yeah, this one is the,
well, that's protective services. Yeah, wrong one. Okay, hang on.
Okay, I have this one and the one that Jared provided me this morning. That was all I had in the file to provide.
Let's just print that one real quick.
all right, let's keep that.
so what do you have, what is this one right here?
This one's for the fire marshals, the
Okay.
fees.
We'll go to the territory, then we'll come back to the merit commission.
Sure, sounds good.
Okay, so. This one will be given a number by Kendall after it's passed. It doesn't, it would just be the state fire marshal's notice of charges. State of Indiana allows a volunteer fire department to charge for responses. And it's fee schedule that's posted right there. That is the state fire marshal's fee schedule that's allowed for a volunteer fire department. Under the state statute, we are not considered a volunteer fire department, so it requires us to pass a resolution as a township, the provider unit of the territory, to be able to continue to bill for services. We do not bill homeowners, or the owners of the vehicles that are in accident. We bill the insurance company. So insurance, almost every policy has a rider in it to cover fire department response if your house is on fire. Same thing for a car wreck. There are some that do not pay it. They'll argue that there's a loophole in the state. We don't go after it. We do it as we send you the bill and we hope that you pay. If you do, great. If you don't, we move on. But it follows this fee schedule. We have a third-party billing service that does it for us. We don't do it in-house. We've done it since 2010-ish. But as the state law changed last year, we no longer qualify as a volunteer fire department under the state statute. So we have to provide our own resolution that says that we can continue to do that same billing structure. That money is not part of our budget. It goes into how would you word it? It's not dollars and cents that it gets moved for our budget, but it's additional money that could be used for additional expenses.
Goes into the cash of the fire fund, and then if needed for expenditures, there's gonna be an additional appropriation.
And we're talking anywhere between $8,000 and $12,000 a year is what we brought in historically.
Okay, so I'll make a motion.
It's 2026-004
You want-
for the billing.
Oh, no, Russ, we'll get my computer. Sure.
I'll make a motion to accept resolution 2026-004 for recommended schedule of recommended service fees for the fire departments for state requirements.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes.
So while he's printing this, just so you guys know, again, this is the other one is resolution for the merit board.
Okay.
It was not defined in the interlocal agreement, so it was thought that let's just make sure everything's clean and good. So the merit board attorney got with Joe, the township attorney, and the fire department attorney, and came up with this resolution. And I included for who the members are, including the one member who's now from German Township. Okay, still 5 people. And And the reason why this kind of came up in some of the, uh, in the newer law, merit board law, if it's not delineated, or it can be delineated in the interlocal agreement, if you only have a 5-member territory board, that board can also be the merit board. We decided to have more members on the merit board because we have 7, okay? So therefore, that board cannot be the merit board because you can only have 5 on the merit board. So that's the whole reason for this. It's just it's to clean up, basically.
Is this also a resolution?
Yes, it will be
Will
relevant.
it have a number?
5. 2605.
Twenty.
Yeah.
2026-005.
Okay, backing up. Mayor Commission. You got, okay. You're good. There is a part in there that is bolded, that they bolded, basically just outlines the membership of the Mayor Commission now. Everything else was taken from the original resolution that was passed before.
So what is the makeup of the merit commission now as far as who all gets appointment on?
2 members from Scott Township, 2 members from the fire department, 1 member from German Township. Armstrong and Darmstadt opted not to appoint members to the Mayor Commission. Under state statute, the Mayor Commission can only be 5 members.
And by chance, who's Randy? Is it, fire department?
Randy and Eric Williams are fire department appointees.
And Randy does live in Armstrong Township.
You know,
So vicariously, we do have representation there.
so German Township has to appoint somebody within their township. Scott, same thing. The fire department can appoint anybody from the fire territory. Right. So that's all that's saying.
I'll make a motion on resolution 26005, retention of an amendment to the fire merit system.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
I seconded it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes.
You bring up the other topic now or not?
Is?
We bring up
can.
the building now or?
Oh, yeah, let's do it now before you have to leave.
Okay.
So I talked to some of you guys before on the phone about the building that came available in Darmstadt, Dr. Tucker's old office. You know, we went to tour it last week, thought it would be a good prospect. So we contacted our accountant to start helping us guide down through that gnarly path of how do we do this in a legal fashion. So one red herring that came up last night, wasn't it? Yeah, yesterday. The realtor advised us that another party has put in an offer on the building. We knew when we toured it last week that that party had toured the building as well. So I contacted the accountant again, told him that an offer has been made, that we have until tomorrow at 5 p.m. to put an offer in. And the realtor knew that there would be, with contingencies, so, that we couldn't say, here's the money, we're ready to buy, we'll sign on Friday, type of thing. Actually, as I was pulling in the parking lot, our accountant got back with me, and he strongly advises that we do not offer at this point in time because we have not been able to do, and would not be able to pull together the necessary items, if you will, to make an offer, like an appraisal of the property and other things. And my gut tells me this other individual may lowball the offer and not offer them the 400 and was it $96,000, because he'd been offering like 218, 220 for a long time. And kind of fall back and punt, if you will. If they reject that, then we have some time to do our diligence that we would need to do properly to put an offer in. So
How long might that process take?
I'd say, probably get an appraisal, probably is a good week or so. Up to 2 weeks.
Keith, where's this at?
It's just north of Boone and Harmony and Darmstadt Road.
It's Dr. Tucker's old
Dr.
office.
Tucker's old office, if you remember Dr. Tucker.
Where's that compared to the dentist?
Right, right behind it, basically, cat corner.
Oh, it's when you go in off of,
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
dentist is right there, that's the.
Yeah.
oh, the one in the back, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it closed up.
Yeah,
It closed in 2020.
2020.
2020.
So it's been vacant almost 6
I've
years.
been,
Yeah, believe me, we thought the same thing. We pulled in and saw the sign on the door. I'm like, I don't remember it being closed that long, but
Yeah.
I'll be there.
I'm not sure on this. If we play hardball, does the township have the power of condemnation?
I don't think we do, no. I like your thoughts.
Not that we would go through it.
I like your thought process, but no, we sure don't, unfortunately. Yeah,
So this is we just gotta wait and see what happens.
yeah, if they reject his offer, then we can, go back to the well, so to speak, and get our contingent. Because kind of the outline that Ben was telling us that we would do, we would basically, I guess for lack of a better term, hire or allow another, like a holding company to purchase the property, manage all the improvements and so forth that we would want, and then we would buy it from them, and that would, enable us not to have to go through the arduous bidding processes and all that other stuff that, we would have to do that. So
So if we had this, does this give us extra space?
I would not classify it as extra space.
Does it open up space at the fire stations?
Yes.
Okay, so who would the fire department house over there?
Pretty
If-
much.
Envision.
The goal would be anything that would be administration, including the community paramedics. So the three of us, four of us, and then our training chief would be there. We would have office space for the three volunteer chiefs that we have on the roster, a conference room, space for Janet, Kendall, and Keith. Is the intention to be a shared building between the township administration and then us as well. Primarily us with a little small section carved out for Janet.
There's no.
She takes up so much room now, so.
space, remember? That's what I've been told.
you were doing that.
And would we envision, that, and would we envision when the township office is closed, that would be segregated somehow from the fire department side?
When they're closed,
Somebody's not there. Fire department's open all the time. I mean, you
Correct.
could have somebody there all the time. So I'm nothing against existing personnel. I'm thinking long-term, but keeping the township records, the offices, the files all secured
Yeah,
when they're not there would be a concern.
that would be part of the renovation.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at, not a total gut,
understand.
basically a couple walls to, from exam rooms to make a bigger office. And then putting doors, places, and maybe walling off another space. So it's a common area in the back.
So what do we plan for the space that would get freed up at the stations?
so just without knowing what we would have officially over there until we would be able to move
Understand.
forward,
But
would be to open this room back up as a full training and then take down that wall. So we built that just to have the office space. Or if we chose not to, then that could actually end up being storage that we don't have a lot of. One of the things that brought to light, we should really consider this option or consider an option moving forward is like our spare uniforms. We don't have a place to store them. Right now, they're being stored in a storage unit in a box. Just waiting for something to get into them at this point.
this building have a basement?
This building does not.
Okay.
But we would have space here and as well as Station 2. So like our EMS storage room where we have the extra equipment is pretty much packed as tight as it can get. So when Jared would vacate his office, that would open up a much bigger room to move that stuff into and have a smaller storage room for other things. I will say all of our buildings are nice. All of our pre-existing buildings are nice. The one thing that was never really planned for was any type of extensive growth. We don't have, none of our buildings have a lot of storage or a lot of closet space. And I will tell you that there was, when we built the station in Daylight, that was an argument that went back and forth, and as you can tell, I lost that argument. But it is what it is. Like I said, all of our pre-existing prior to last year buildings were nice. They just, they all lack that storage ability. So that would open up some storage space. That would be the biggest thing that we would be looking at.
You want to speak to the quote that's now several years old? If we've added to this building?
We did look at adding to this building to the west. Would be a two-story to be able to have office space and a little bit of storage space built onto this building. That was post-COVID, so construction prices were higher to start with. But to do the design work, the land work, and the building was anywhere between $5 and $7 million. And that was just to match this building. That wasn't, and it was about half of this side of the building itself added to that side. So now I will openly say a lot of that, not a lot, a decent portion of that cost that started just from the beginning is the fact that our oil separator is on that side of the building. So that does add cost to have to relocate that. But we're talking millions of dollars within the construction. Hey, wake up.
This little
Wrong
guy,
TV,
this little guy.
wrong remote.
No, it's
Oh.
the sound bar. It's killing the whole thing.
Gosh.
I know.
So
So this building could potentially free up more space, bigger bang for the buck than adding on to.
correct, it could. And the one thing that we talked about over there when we did a brief walkthrough and look at is there is a considerable amount of land that comes with it that could be used in the future for additional things that could come into play with the fire department.
My only comment would be if this falls through on this other bidder, that we do a mold survey since it's been sitting there for 6 years and make sure we're not inheriting
An issue.
an issue.
Oh, yeah, there'd have to be a full building inspection.
And and remediation would have to be a part of that. Don't get stuck with a mold
I mean,
remediation.
surprisingly enough, walking through it, yes, there are some spots that you can tell the drywall's cracked from years, whether it's
Yeah.
just years or if it's
You know,
a problem. The building itself, I mean, it looks like the day they probably walked out of it, like they've paid an extensive amount of money to keep it heated and cooled throughout the years. It doesn't smell musty when you walk in. Heck, they even had somebody come and plow the parking lot and salt the sidewalk when it's closed. So
okay.
I don't know what Deaconess is thinking, but they're,
Got a new roof.
yes, they put a new roof on it last summer, I do believe. So,
All right. Very good.
How many acres are with it?
I want to say it was around 2-ish, maybe a little under.
Two
I mean, it's all the way to the line of the
Yeah.
church.
So yeah, basically the back of Trinity Lutherans, the driveway that's behind theirs up to Darmstadt Road, and then from just behind the back of the dentist office over quite a distance to the north of that building is the property that's included in it. The driveway itself on Darmstadt it bottlenecks down to the driveway and then widens back up when it gets around the building. So.
Okay. I did look on, Google AI, and if you can believe it, rather than an attorney, it says that townships in Indiana are authorized to condemn.
Really?
My Google attorney said, by God, we can do it.
And it's unlegal.
Oh, it says like when I
But,
was
you know.
recording, it's awesome.
So if you look at,
Who's Julie?
yeah,
I'm gonna assume she was in there at one point in time.
yeah, I don't know.
So,
Yeah, let's believe Google, because they got some name on it we've never heard of.
But, yeah.
You can see them mowing consistently, the
Mhm.
pattern.
Yes.
The lines.
Yeah, you can see the
Yeah,
lines that they cut,
right,
so
yeah.
there is a considerable amount of land that does come with it. For anything future, like, just pure spitball and discussion would be, is there's probably enough land there to even consider when the time comes of when we would rebuild Station 3, that land could become useful for that as well. Not a guarantee, but it could be useful. Hey, guess what? It's 1 o'clock.
is there anything else under fire?
I hope I'm not.
EMS contract. one.
I'm leaving that one to Jared. That's his problem, not mine. Jared does have another contract that he wants to get approval for that is moving forward. It does, I'll just say it comes with the fact that Evansville Fire Department is starting their own EMS service, which moves the dispatch system and a whole nother process to our county dispatch that will connect with this crosswalk health. And I'll let him explain crosswalk health. Any questions for me before I would? Good. Thank you for moving me up.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, anything, right? Nope. Good.
How about we go back? Are you guys ready to do, AFR?
He's still fired.
Oh.
Jared
Yeah,
is.
I'll do this one real quick. So this contract is with Crosswalk Health. Crosswalk Health is a nurse navigation line. So what a nurse navigation line does is, as somebody calls 911 for a less than critical nature, say my stomach's upset for the last 3 weeks, really doesn't need an ambulance. So dispatch would triage certain select calls out to this nurse navigation line. They would do their assessment, do their question and answer process, and then go, hey, this really doesn't need an ambulance, but we're gonna get you set up to go to an urgent care. We'll send Uber, we'll send, a prescription refill in request, something like that. So it eliminates, it probably, I'd say maybe 5% of our runs. It would be triaged into this system. Evansville City is doing this as well. And the complicated part is Central Dispatch, our dispatch agency has to have a contract. We have to have a participating contract, and Evansville City has to have one as well, since we're all gonna be working together through this. There is no cost to this. So the way this company makes their money is by routing patients and getting funding through the insurance to avoid ambulance transports. That's how they make their money. Questions?
What are your thoughts?
I think it's a good thing. AMR currently has a process they use now internally. And we don't really know how much it really affects us at all out here in the county. I know certain runs in the city have been rolled over to the AMR nurse line. But this would allow us access and control and find out exactly what's going on. Crosswalk Health has been around for a couple of years. They have just now taken off in Indiana. Indianapolis EMS and the whole Marion County metro areas has signed on to participate with them as well. So they're been active about 9 months in Indianapolis, and I've heard positive things from what I've talked to up there.
Is this something that we're kind of getting pushed into since everything else is going on, or?
It's an opportunity to go and get it in place as things are changing. So this is something I actually approached Evansville Fire Department about probably about a year ago, as they made their announcement of, hey, we're going to the EMS business. As we're changing everything, this is the time to implement this. That way we have it going forward. So it's something we're going to lose access to through the AMR process.
So dispatch is gonna take over instead of switching the phone to AMR, and they're ready for this?
We hope they're ready for it June 1.
Does this have any headaches for you guys as far as we're concerned to switch over, or is it mainly hands off?
It's really hands off behind the scenes. I mean, somebody calls 911, we won't be notified of, alerted, hey, they called 911. It'll be turned off, we'll get a report. One of the big things that they have discussed is the rate of occurrence of, hey, we turfed a run to you for non-transport, and then it gets back to us. They start their assessment, oh, hey, they really do need an ambulance. So that's the big trigger, but they've not had any issues so far that I've heard of.
That was gonna be my other question, is if something like that happens and the nurse on the line says, well, this is more serious than what you think it is, there is a way for them to get it back.
Yeah, yes.
What do you need us to approve this?
Please, and I'll sign it.
I'll make a motion to approve the Crosswalk Health contract for Vandenberg County Fire.
You got a motion, do I have a second?
Okay.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Now that concludes fire, correct?
I think so.
All right,
Full report.
you ready for the AFR?
Sure.
Make sure we get the original back.
So as a reminder, the AFR has to be approved annually in February. And then once approved, it has to be, portions of it are posted in the newspaper so that the public has the opportunity to review as well. I see your mouse, you got it here for you. Go through. So it's broken down into different segments. This first one is our cash and investment combined statement. This is kind of the monthly end, only it's the year end. So it's showing you the funds that we started with, all our receipts and disbursements, and then what we ended up at the end of the year. None of them are negative, which is the big red flag for the year. We do have a couple funds that are later in the agenda, that we'd like to close out because we're not using them anymore. They're basically dormant. The shelter rental fees, the ballpark, the park bond, which is now paid off, and the firehouse debt, which is now paid off.
Kendall, a question on that is, what I don't see up there is, Trust Indiana. Where are we at on Trust Indiana?
So we currently do not, we just have all of our finances in checking accounts through German and Old National.
Okay, I thought we were setting up to go to Trust Indiana.
The
Where are we at?
So
on
we
that?
have the account set up, but that, the decision is not, I guess, on my plate. I don't know.
No, we just have not moved funds over.
So what has to happen to move funds?
Just basically tell them which account to take the funds out of and flip them over. Can't make a transfer, so everything's ready to go. What our intent was is to take the revenue from the ambulance transports and invest that. And that would help offset future costs for EMS equipment and so forth. So we just got to make that happen.
But we've got $3.1 million sitting here that we could be making a lot better interest rate on some of it. Can we not move some of that to Trust Indiana now?
Potentially, yes, we could.
So what do we need to do to do that, and who needs to do it?
I mean, it's a matter of sitting down at the computer. And we have the accounts already set up in Trust Indiana, trust it, and then making the transfer from German America to Trust Indiana. So it's just part of something we do in the office.
Okay. Can we do that here in the next couple of weeks, move some money so we can get better interest rate?
We can do that.
No,
Are you good on that page?
I am, thank you.
The next page is the detailed receipts. It's flipping between. So this is gonna show all of our receipts based on the fund and then the category. So all of these categories are predetermined. Earning on investments, that would be all of our, like our interest from the, accounts, any refunds we've received, donations, et cetera. All of this up here is our, tax money. And then it's breaking it out into each fund. The first one was Township, then we have firehouse debt, park bond, all of our accounts here. All of these numbers are well within what we projected, so there's no red flags that we see on these. The next report. Are all of our disbursements, again, separated by fund and then category. There's a duplication report at the end that breaks it out. Instead of the category, it's gonna give you the vendor. So it breaks it out every way that you could ever imagine. So this is all the funds and then accounts and then all of the disbursements that we had over the year. I'll just quickly scroll through these. If you'd like to look at the book after I'm done, you can, or they're available on the advisory board Dropbox. So this is the total expenditure for the year, which again is well within the budget. There were no funds that were over expended in 2025. This is all payroll. I think this one goes down to like, remind me to keep scrolling for a minute on here. It's like page 26 or something. The next one says fund type schedule.
Next one, 26.
There's, okay. These are all of the funds. We have to declare what the purpose is. To me, this is duplicate, but it's a report we have to file. The next one is our debt statement. This first loan here, the 2023 at the GAB, German American Bank ambulance, and then it shows the ending principal balance and the principal due in 26, the fire engine, the other ambulance that was purchased a few years ago. It has its last payment this June, and then the obligation for fire station and park bond were both settled this year, so they have a zero balance at the end of this year. Next one shows any deficient funds, so this would be if we overdrafted any of our funds, which we had not, which is great, because the State Board of Accounts will cite you for those. Next one is any leases we had. We did have one lease with the copier, but it was not affected during 25, so we did not have any leases in 25. Any transfers in and out, this would be like if we transferred money from township to rainy day or vice versa. We did not do any of that in 25. The next one is all of our capital assets. We did have an addition of $100 in land, which is the Ingle Browning Cemetery. We had improvements of $27,000 for the pickleball renovations, and then the addition of machinery with the German transition. And then we did sell one park item, which was actually a trade-in on another part. So these are all of our capital assets. So at the end of the year, we're looking at 12,143,396 in assets for Stocktown.
Oh, billion?
12 billion.
Million.
12 billion, sorry.
Okay.
I can't see it. I need my iPhone.
12 million.
Sorry.
Just say, we need a raise.
Right.
We need a raise.
Right.
Billions.
12,653,390. Again, what you and I would value our car at versus what the state sees an engine at is completely different. We have to take the year it was bought, automatically deduct a year off of it from the day we take it, and then there's a calculation of depreciation over time. The only thing that does not depreciate is land. This one is our accounts payable and receivable. Almost all of these payables were cleared in January. It's just, utility bills or insurance bills that are still coming through. Receivables are invoices we've sent out for different services such as like rentals or EMS fees for classes and whatnot.
So Kendall, when we sell like the rescue truck that's up for sale, if it's fully depreciated, does that freak the system out, or do you just put a note in that we sold a depreciated asset for $5,000?
So we will keep that on our asset log for the insurance purpose, but once it reaches $2,000 or $199 or less, then it comes off of our asset threshold and we no longer have to report that to the state.
Okay, thank you.
This is our TA7. It's a required form for township assistance. We have been down this year, which I'm not complaining in anything of. We did have 55 requests for township assistance. I believe over 40 of those were for people calling for either a township that's not us, but within Vanderburgh County, or they're calling for Scottsburg, Indiana, or Scott Township, Pennsylvania, for whatever reason. So.
Cause that comes up on Google.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
211 is not really as effective as we want it to be, so. Number of recipients, 3. I'm just gonna hit a couple highlights. Household was 3. We did have 2 denials, and those were denials within the same household for over expenditure. They had multiple gym memberships, tanning bed, all the things that they could have cut, so. And then we have to break it down into what we're actually providing them. Utility assistance, housing assistance, which is rent, food assistance, and we did have 1 cremation this year. Case management services, that's if we refer them to, say, Catholic Charities or St. Vincent de Paul, any of those things. Pensions, we do not provide pension. We have a retirement fund, but it is not considered a pension. And that's the end of the report. There is a form that needs to be signed that we have to retain on file. I can pass it down to you. It does need to be signed by the trustee, the board. Option 1 says that you'll approve it, which I would kindly ask that. 2 is if you make any amendments to it. And then there is a line that says date to be published. I don't know that because I can't publish it until you approve it. So I fill that in after I submit it to the Courier and Press.
And I did look through this earlier. The checkbooks are all in balance and all match and the usual efficiencies that we have come to expect. I'm doing the second line. I would never.
No, I'm talking about the grouping.
Don't forget to vote on it though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
make sure
okay,
you-
well, I make a motion to accept the AFR for 2025 as documented.
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Sign this option 1.
I won't need that part.
Okay, cool.
That's just the raw data.
Anything else for the AFR that we need to do?
Nope, that's it.
All right, do we want to move on to township assistance?
I don't have anything to report.
All right. How about Parks and Rec? First line.
Where's this 10 people thing?
Go. Other than our public comment that we had earlier, do we have anything for Parks and Rec?
Are they still wet? At least it's not so covered anymore.
Cemetery care.
The contracts for, Hornby and Stacer were signed. So those are effective for the remainder of the year. And then the Ingle Browning, cemetery, I'll call it the trust fund, I guess, was closed out. And we received a check for $1,995. We have the option to create a fund for that cemetery, deplete the funds, and then use the township fund, which is where the cemetery care comes out of. Or we have the option to just deposit the check into the township fund. Knowing that we've already expended close to $9,000 on survey and the legal fees and all of that stuff. Bookkeeping wise, it's easier to deposit it into the township fund and just call it a day, but it's really up to the board's decision on how they want to handle that. If it were,
Well,
if it were a
you need a
large
motion?
amount, like if we had like $50,000 come in and we hadn't spent that much, then we would definitely have to put in a separate fund. But knowing the check is less than what we've already spent, it's almost a reimbursement at this point.
Let me back you up. Hornby, you said contracts for Hornby and
Stacer.
Dacer.
Dacer.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Okay, well, I would move to put the Engel Browning funds into the township fund as reimbursement for costs already expended.
Second that.
All right, got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Passes. Is that everything for our cemetery?
Yes.
Anything under donations?
No.
Anything under legal?
Yes. At the end of the books, we just talked about those funds that are no longer in use. I can make these separate, or you can just. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some numbers, Harold, to put in. The first one's $15. I don't have any legal authority. I'm just telling you my personal recommendation is Scott Ballpark to the Park and Rec Fund.
Okay.
The next one would be $5,013.17. That would be park shelter fees to Park and Rec. Tell me when you're good.
He's writing them
Okay.
down. I'll have to get them from
Okay.
here in a little bit.
23125.53 is park bond to rainy day. And then 6550.29 is fire debt to rainy day.
Did it number again?
6550.29.
6500.
6550.29.
I missed a point.
And that was moving from where to where?
Fire debt to rainy day. So the last two are debt services that have been paid in full. And those obviously are just going to rainy day. And then the other two are accounts created by, Bob, and they were used for miscellaneous reasons that we no longer use. The $15 was a check issued as a refund for, registration, and the person did not cash their check. It's been the 2-year waiting period, so the check has to be deposited back into the fund where it was issued from. So we could have closed that account this year until the person didn't cash their check. Now we're on another 2-year waiting period, so if we could move the funds out of there, then we can close the account in 2 years, or the fund, sorry.
So these are the four funds that are gonna be, or that we're proposing to be eliminated in the ballpark.
Rainy day.
The Scott Ballpark Fund,
Scott Ballpark Fund, the park shelter fees, the park bond, and the
fire debt. Mhm.
That's our debt excess.
Just keep in mind that even if we put the cash from that account to the other account, doesn't mean we can expend it. It's just increasing the cash. So if we want to spend more than the budget, then we still have to have an appropriation for the funding.
Okay, real quick, the first two, $15 from what to what?
Scott Ballpark,
To
Park and Rec.
Park and Rec.
Mhm.
Okay, and the 5,000,
Shelter fees to Park and Rec.
and this is to close out, these unused.
They're dormant funds.
To,
Close them out, right?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to move the amounts as indicated from the fund it's currently in to an existing fund to close out these dormant funds.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Anything else in legal? I guess miscellaneous revolving meeting or next meeting day.
I do have two miscellaneous things, but give me 1 second here to catch up here. Just looking back through my notes, just wanted to get an update on the status of the HR policies, where we were at, because we hired that company to write manuals for the employees, non-fire department employees.
Right.
We have a copy of it. So, I mean, we've got completed policies.
Do we have to approve of that, or?
We probably should let you guys pursue, yeah, look at it.
Peruse them?
Thank you. Peruse. God, I can't talk. Yeah. It's officially say yes for the township employees.
Okay. So is that something you can email us, or?
We'll get it together for you, yeah.
Okay.
Or we'll put it out on that Dropbox. That'd be better.
I may have to.
I could send you another invite if you haven't been on there. I'll get you hooked up.
I only have like 6 email accounts I gotta track.
It's already on your email.
Well, I might have it. I just haven't. Yet.
Yeah, fine.
I just have.
It probably is. It usually expires in like 24 hours.
Oh, well, then you probably better send me another
Okay.
invite. So,
Right?
okay, that's it, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President.
We only had one. You said a couple.
Oh, I changed my mind. Hey, I'm entitled.
Okay.
So the revolving meeting or the next meeting date?
We tossed around the idea in the office about a revolving meeting just because we have so much more going on in the office and approvals. We know we're gonna have to have a follow-up for today. Then we're already into the second quarter, so we have to have a second quarter meeting, third quarter, fourth quarter has to be in December, but then somewhere in there, we have to have our budget approval process too. So I don't know if it's something we just do it as it comes, or do we just pick a day and we say that's the day, and if we need to, we just cancel it.
Does that mean like set up something like the third Wednesday
Right.
each month?
Yeah,
That way we just know that's when it is.
it's on your guys' calendar, so, and if we don't have to meet, we can say cancel.
I know sometimes getting that many people in the room is hard.
On the revolving meeting idea, how frequently are you guys thinking we may need to do it? Like once a month at least, or every other month? What, is there a recommendation?
Well, minimally, it has to be once a quarter.
Yeah.
No, like if we say we pursued purchase of the building, we would have to have a public hearing and a meeting for that. So if we know going into a process like that, that we can already plan because that's the next meeting scheduled, it's kind of easier for us to say, well, we need to gather everybody together and figure out when the meeting's gonna be. But again, it's your board, your decision. I'm just trying to facilitate scheduling.
I'm not at all opposed to setting something up like that. Whatever works for these guys. And again, I don't know if
Good. The more we can schedule it now, then I can avoid being gone.
Yeah, it helps you a little bit. Yep.
And I can tell you the 23rd, the 30th, and the 6th of April, those 3 weeks, I'm not available, so that's,
You could do a monthly, but not start until April if you wanted to.
I'm fine with that, and if you need something, beforehand.
We just do our 10-day notice.
Um,
Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts on, setting up a meeting every month? Is that,
I have no problem with it if we need to. If we don't need to,
and how easy would it be to cancel one? Like if there's nothing really pressing and we can go to the next month, is that?
If
What
you
sort
go
of
back to the
procedure?
10 days, you have to do it more than 10 days before.
What if we tried every other month
I don't care.
and see if that works? And if we need more frequent, then change it to monthly.
Or
So if we started one in
if you start
April,
with April, then
April.
that would meet your December requirement.
April, June, August, October, and then fifth, I'm assuming we'd still
We
still
just have to have one
put
more for your budget.
special for budget.
Yeah.
I'm okay with doing that. If in the even numbered months, is there a particular day of the month or?
Tuesdays work good for me. I don't know about anybody else. Or Thursday.
How do you like Tuesday, Harold?
That's okay.
Is there a better day?
Well, Mondays, then if I have to try, I can go on Tuesday and still
Oh,
have the part of the week to do, but I go with the board. Tuesdays are
if
fine.
you do it at 12,
Mondays are fine with me.
I think Mondays is fine for me if it's 12 o'clock or 12:30.
That's fine.
Please?
I'm not-
Mondays.
Okay, do we want to set it for a certain, like,
Third.
second or third?
Yep.
How about
I
we
would
do-
say if you do the later in the month, we could keep on track with the monthly stuff.
How about third Mondays of the month? So that would be, next one, that would be April
20th.
20th. So,
Third Monday of the even month,
April 20th.
but only on full.
After the first full moon.
Yeah, after the first full moon.
And
what do we do on leap years?
it's spring equinox.
Is there a motion adjourn to set the third Monday of the,
I'll make a motion to set the third Monday of the even months,
Right.
for a board meeting
at noon?
at noon here.
Got a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Anything else for the board? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. 13:33.